Anyone who knows me knows that I've always been a writer, that there's nothing I trust more than the words that flow from my own pen. But sometime last year, I almost gave up on writing. Not intentionally, but because I felt like I didn't need to do it anymore. Not because I ran out of ideas, but because I felt like a robot brought them to life better than I did. Not because I wanted to, but because it felt like I had to. And at that moment, I wasn't just worried about my own future as a writer. I was scared for all of us. What if I told you that I didn't write this speech? That an AI did it for me in 5 seconds flat? I'm sure most of you wouldn't even be surprised. I'm sure most of you have been through the same experience of having AI write something for you, and then you saw how good it was, how effortless it was. And in today's time, when there are a million such options, all meant to make us more efficient and better writers, why bother trying, right? But when this happened to me, all I could think about was, what if AI can write better than I ever can? What if I should just stop trying because it will always outdo me? What if everyone else uses it and I don't, and they end up with something better? To give you a picture, I've written poems, stories, articles, features, even news pieces. But one day, I found myself hesitating at a blank page. And I realized I hadn't just taken the easy way out by using AI. I suddenly wasn't able to trust my own voice. And for someone who spent their entire life using writing as an outlet, I can't tell you anything scarier than this feeling. And what was even worse, I couldn't find a single ounce of myself in what AI had generated. Not my style, not my beliefs, and not what I wanted to say. The next time I tried writing something, it was that much harder for me to begin. Even when I knew I didn't like using AI, even when I knew I wanted to do it myself. Because it wasn't just about convenience anymore. It was becoming dependence. It forced me to ask myself, if AI disappeared tomorrow, would I still know how to write? Would I still know how to be creative? And then the even scarier question, would that actually be a good thing? I realize now that it wouldn't. I realize now that it's a problem, one that's far bigger than we realize. And it doesn't just affect writers, or students, or even just this generation. We aren't becoming lazier, like some people say. We aren't becoming more efficient, like enthusiasts argue. We're becoming outsourced. It's like asking someone else to blow out your birthday candles for you. The ritual still happens, but the wish, the magic, and the spark that belong to you alone is gone. And that spark, the one that ignites humanity, is what we're handing over to a machine. In the past, innovation has always come from human need and human desire for change. The light bulb wasn't invented because someone was bored. It was invented because people wanted to improve their lives, because they wanted to see after dark. Every great invention began with that messy mix of frustration and hope and excitement. But look at us now. We turn to AI not just for help, but for ideas themselves. We're losing that messy struggle and we're giving up on innovation. And when we do that, we won't grow, we won't move, we'll stall. If you think about it, AI is trained purely on what's happened in the past. It can only recombine what it has seen before. But true innovation, like the light bulb, came from people daring to imagine what didn't already exist. So now, if we really try and outsource creativity, how will it help us grow? How will it take human beings further when it has no concept of the future and only knows the past? You don't have to answer this question, because the truth is, it won't. The so-called new ideas that we get from AI are just remixes. They're not revolutions. And one day, when our dependence on AI has become irreversible, we'll enter a loop where all we do is recycle old ideas instead of breaking new ground. To put it simply, we're going to stagnate. And I hope that thought terrifies you as much as it terrifies me. There have been times where I've poured myself into something I've created. Whether it was a piece for the school magazine, a practice essay for English class, or a draft of my history internal assessment, Those feelings of accomplishment have meant so much more to me than the times where I generated a couple hundred words to meet a deadline. When people have told me, good job, for things like that, it's meant little more to me than a fist bump in the hallway. But when I got a smile and a compliment from my English teacher, that pride stayed with me. Through these experiences, I've learned that being authentic matters so much more than being perfect. I've learned that it's okay to take a little bit longer if you're creating something that's truly yours. And I've learned that creativity, it comes from trying, from discomfort, from messing up a few times. Case in point, I remember one night staring at the Google document with the article that I was writing, convinced it was doomed. The house was silent, my friends were asleep, and every sentence I wrote felt wrong. So I deleted, rewrote again, deleted it again, and I was just stuck in that loop of frustration. But then, somewhere between my 15th draft and probably my 100th sigh, it finally came to me. That moment, that rush, that realization of this is it, where the words finally clicked. And I've never forgotten that. Because when something becomes too easy, it loses its meaning. Think back. Do you really remember those answers that you ChatGPT'd at the last minute? Or do you remember the times where you sweated over something, cursed at it, maybe even wanted to give up, before finally creating something that you were proud of? Creativity was never meant to be efficient. Its core has and always will be human. So it's time now to ask ourselves, are we okay losing our agency? Are we okay with convenience replacing courage? Are we okay losing meaning in our own work? Because I'm not. And the most radical thing that I've ever done is to forsake AI. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a struggling IBDP student with what feels like 1,000,001 things to do, just like some of you are. But for the things that matter, that are going to reflect who I am, that are important to me, I've decided to always ideate myself. The internet can give you an answer in seconds, but only you can give the world a song that makes someone cry, a story that keeps them awake at night, or a speech that makes them feel less alone. Those messy cards that you made for Mother's Day, those times where you stayed up to comfort your best friend, or those thoughts that you had alone in the middle of the night came from you, and only you. And those people didn't care if it was perfect. They cared if it connected with them. And do you really think a robot can do that better than you? I'm not saying the internet is horrible. No one is asking you to delete ChatGPT from your phone. But what the world needs more of is soul. And you are the only thing that has that. So use AI, but use it to enhance, to shape, and to fit. Don't use it to create. And the next time, I urge you, all of you, don't look at the flaws. Write freely, paint atrociously, sketch without a pattern, and design without fear. Create without prompt, edit without yearning, and don't even think about perfection. Don't let the machine outcreate you. Be bold enough to create something that no algorithm could ever imagine.